was one of the signs of the last day, major signs of the last day, Gog and Magog. So the target of the question was Gog and Magog. Does he know about Gog and Magog? وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. And they questioned you about someone who is called the possessor of Qarnayn, either two horns, or who impacts on two ages. It appears to mean two ages here, because otherwise the Quran uses qarn for an age, not for a horn. He travels in the direction of the setting of the sun, and then he travels in the direction of the rising of the sun, and then he travels in a third direction. Which was it? That is west, and this one is east. Which is the third one? We know the third one. Why? Because Nabi Muhammad ﷺ said that when they are released, they will pass by the Sea of Galilee on the way to Jerusalem. And there in Jerusalem, they will surround a mountain, which is in Baytul Maqdis. That's what the hadith says. And Nabi Isa ﷺ will be up the mountain. So if you're traveling, passing the Sea of Galilee on your way to Jerusalem, you're coming from the north. You did study geography, didn't you? All right. When he traveled in the direction of the setting of the sun, he could go no further because he came upon a body of water, which was hamia, dark and murky. So now we're looking for a body of water to the left of the Holy Land, are going north. And there are only two. One is the Mediterranean Sea, which is not Hamia, because you can look down and you can see meters down. But north of the Mediterranean Sea, there is precisely such a body of water. It is even known as the Black Sea, because it is Hamia. So much algae in the water that visibility is very, very difficult. Just about 1 meter you can see. And our Mufassirun, long years ago, identified it as the Black Sea. You find it in Tafsir ibn Kathir. And they come across a people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created Zulkarnain and bestowed upon him power to pursue any objective he chooses to pursue. He is the superpower, but he has faith in Allah. And so when power is founded, power rests on the foundations of faith. How will power be used? The Quran now gives a beautiful explanation. Zulkarnain replies to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have a little difficulty in having that fellow called Alexander, that you call Alexander the Great, having a conversation with Allah. I have a little difficulty with that. Allah speaks to him and he speaks to Allah. Alexander, the fellow who worshipped all the Greek gods and goddesses and so on. Yeah. So, Zulkarnain replies to Allah and he says, those who commit acts of dhulm, who are unjust, who oppress, who are wicked in their conduct, I'm going to punish them. And so power, when it rests on the foundations of faith, is used to punish the oppressor. And when they return to you, you will also punish them. And so when power rests on the foundations of faith, there is an essential harmony between this world here and that world there. What a wonderful world in which to live. And those who have faith and who are righteous in conduct, I'll treat them nicely and they will be rewarded. So when power rests on the foundations of faith, power is used to support and to protect. those who have faith and who are righteous in conduct. The Quran is teaching a lesson. And then he travels in the direction of the rising of the sun. So if you move east from the Black Sea, how far can you go? As you move east from the Black Sea, you're going to come upon another sea, beyond which you can't go. What's the name of that sea? The Caspian Sea. You're lucky I don't have time to ask you questions. The Caspian Sea. And there he came across the people, and now we see the very few words, agonizingly few in the Quran. He came across a people, لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُمْ مِنْ دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. Just only these words? Could you not have given us some more? لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُمْ مِنْ دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. A sitr is a covering, that which covers. Other than that, we gave them no more covering. Other than that, we gave them no covering. So now we are forced. We are forced, there is no way we can get away from it. We are forced to dig deep to try to determine what is the message being sent. And when we come to a conclusion, of course, we must say Allah knows best. There's no obligation to accept our understanding. Could be. Here are people who are sitting on a vast sea of oil. When power rests on the foundations of faith, and you come across such a people, you want to exploit the oil. I mean, it's valuable. And these are just human beings then. What do? You pick them up and you ship them to Brazil? Yeah? So you can exploit all the oil? Or, alternatively, these are people who are living an essentially primitive way of life. Only the natural covering, that's all that they have from the elements. What do you do when you come across such a people? Do you take them out of that natural way of life and put them into something, I don't know whether you've seen it, something called blue jeans. So become part of the blue jeans Jamaat. Huh? And get them to start smoking cigarettes and civilize them. What do? كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا. كذلك, one word. Sheikh Ali Mustafa, only one word. That's all. This whole Qarnayn had the compassion. He had the good sense, he had the integrity to leave them as they were, undisturbed. This is the understanding that we get from the tafsir. But we are struggling with just a few words. Economy of language has reached its perfection here in this passage of Surah Al-Kahf. كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا. Allah says, I understood perfectly why he acted in the way that he did. And so when power rests on the foundations of faith, power will place human values first before economic values and the exploitation of the economic resources of the world. The human being comes first. When power rests on the foundations of faith, power will respect the way of life of even those who live the primitive way. What a wonderful world it could have been. Huh? And then he travels in the third direction, which is to the north. But when we look from that Black Sea to this, the Caspian Sea, and now we're in the firm foundations of geography. When we go north, there is an unbroken barrier of mountains. What are they called? What are they called? Caucasus Mountains. An unbroken barrier of mountains. But this unbroken barrier of mountains has a little pass in between them. A solitary pass, where you can pass through from the north to go down to the south. And there he comes across a people, and it's a very important clue now, لَا يَكَادُونَ يَفْقَهُونَ قَوْلًا. Their language could not be understood, indicating that this is a language which is unique, unrelated to the regional languages. An important clue. The Georgian language fits the bill perfectly. The Georgian language is right there in that region by the Caucasus Mountains. And the Georgian language is unconnected with all the regional languages. See how we're moving forward? They say to Zulkarnain, Inna Ya'juj wa Ma'juj mufsiduna fil ard. Gog and Magog are perpetrating fasad in our land. Can you help us? Can you build a barrier for us? We're prepared to pay you to protect us from them. One would have expected Zulkarnain to say, I don't need to build any barrier. I'll just move in there and teach them the lesson of their life. They'll be scared to even put their finger on you after I'm finished with them. But he didn't say that. And so now we have a profile of Gog and Magog coming out of the Quran. We have not gone to the Hadith as yet. That he is the superpower, and yet he does not, as the superpower of the world, he does not have the power to be able to go into them and teach them a lesson. They have a power greater than his. And all that he can do with Allah's help is to build a barrier. He says, I don't need your money. What Allah has given to me is good enough. Just help me with manpower. Bring me blocks of iron. So it has to be a region with iron ore deposits. That is the Caucasus Mountain around there. And after he had cut the iron blocks and put them on the mountain pass, the Quran describes فَلَمَّا سَاوَ بَيْنَ السَّدَفَيْنِ. Sadafain. Not by accident. The clues are coming one after the other, so fast they're coming. If you take a shell and you open it, you get Sadafain. This side and that side join at the bottom. Like this. So Zulkarnain is describing to us the shape of the pass, Sadafain, like the sides of an open shell that are joined at the bottom. That is up to this day you can go and see the same shape is there. It's called the Dariel Gorge. We are on very firm geographical foundations here. Very firm. So he builds the barrier with blocks of iron. We don't have to go and search for the barrier in Singapore. No! That's where it is. And after he hit the barrier, it's not called Sud anymore. The Sud is a barrier to patch something. It's now called Radam, which is like a dam. You build to create a dam. This is important.